fine. I need more.
Boom.
There it is.
So before the lawsuit starts, the cease and desist from Sean, this is the very first illegal, unofficial, official MacDuff shirt ever.
Feels good.
Nice.
So
I love it. Patent pending.
patent pending.
There you go.
I love it. All right, well, let's get into it, guys. All right. What's up, everyone? We are back again. It's Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and we are coming at you live. The Razor Company for another Artisan Spotlight. I'm Angelo.
I'm Slappy Badger and or John.
I'm J Mac from the Canadian Mafia Show, and every Friday night we have the biggest names in wet shaving. If you're catching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a future spotlight.
Right on. So tonight we're going to be interviewing Sean from MacDuffs out of Alberta, Canada. Right on. Couldn't be more excited. MacDuffs has been manufacturing shave items for a couple of years now, and we're excited to learn everything about it. Yeah, so we're going to dive right in to get going. So, Sean, thank you for joining us, brother. So go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about the company.
Yeah. Well, I started MacDuffs with my ex-girlfriend 2017 about. We started off with just some hand soaps. Got a little bit into skincare, and then we were doing lots of markets and stuff like that. But just because I've always had a beard, I was kind of wanting to do the men's stuff. Kind of did a little bit of the beard oils. And then just happened to see some shave soaps on the internet. And I think it was PAA actually. And they had the really cool science fiction labels and like complex sounding scent notes and stuff like that. So I was like, that's something that I kind of would like to get into. And now here we are, like 5 years later.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you being here, man. It's exciting to get to dive in, learn everything about you. So also too, before we get going, we are going to do a giveaway. So we're going to do a set, and more details on that later, as well as any questions from the audience. We'll get that towards the end of the show. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to pour them in, and we'll get to them, later on, go through them all. So, but yeah, so speaking of questions, so J-Mac, go ahead, man. You got president being, Canadian, so.
Awesome. Well, I'll start off with a real simple one. So you have a beard. Do you traditional wet shave? Do your lineups, or is that something you're into at all, or do you just let her go?
I shave now. Now that I make the stuff, but I've never really been a wet shaver. Like I'm pretty outside to the hobby. Like I said, like I was more what appealed to me was like the label design and the scent notes and stuff like that. So that's my approach to it.
Nice. Well, even though you're not a wet shaver, I mean the scent you come up with, woo, chef's kiss.
Go ahead, Sloppy. What do you got?
I have a ton. So
Start with one.
I'm going to start with, I think some of us are at least aware of where the name came from.
Yeah.
Which is your dog.
My dog, yeah.
Where did the dog's name come from, or was it just something?
I just had a list of Scottish names because he's a Scottish Terrier. So I just went on the internet. I'm like, list of Scottish names, and MacDuff was one of the first ones. And I liked that name. I was just like, yep, he's a total MacDuff.
Perfect.
Right?
I didn't know if it was maybe a Simpsons episode of MacDuff's beer.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. I just looked up Scottish names. It's nice and strong, so I liked it.
Is he a character? Is he?
Oh yes, he's a classic terrier, and he's got some social anxiety issues towards other dogs, and barks a lot. Full bundle, but lots of personality.
Nice. So I guess I'll start with. So you didn't start off traditional wet shaving, but you do now. Obviously, you were kind of doing it into the fragrance. Were you that into coming up with fragrance before you did the shave soaps?
Yeah, in a way, because like when we first started our like basic lineup of like 6 hand soaps, Like you can buy like pre-made fragrance oils, and they have like all the aroma chemicals mixed. And like even then, I was like mixing stuff. I didn't want to just do like single blend. To me, it was like anybody could just have the exact same scent as me, so I wanted to avoid that. But yeah, it's definitely like developed way now, because now I use like 30 to 40 ingredients per scent. Before it might have been 3 or 4. So
Were you surprised that that the shaving portion took off? Probably, I would assume, greater than the rest of the products. I mean, to where you are now versus where you started.
well, I mean, looking back, I didn't think I was going to end up here, but no, I'm not surprised, just because that's where I put all my energy. It was the thing that I had the most fun with. Like, even though, yeah, like I said, I'm not a wet shaver. Just getting better at graphic design was a big motivation for me. Learning about colognes and stuff, because even then I had like 1 bottle of cologne since high school before I started this business. Cool water. That's it. That was like my entire experience of fragrance. But yeah, now like a lot of customers have helped out with that. They sent me like some of their favorite colognes just so I could get like a broader context and learn from there.
So really, organic kind
Yeah,
of uprising for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Nice.
Nice.
And I'm gonna throw it in just because I'm a jerk.
Okay.
When are the shirts coming?
Well, when are you going to draw some more?
Oh, Bert.
I'm gonna say the labor is a bit much for what you're looking for, but I'll hassle you offline repeatedly until
Yeah.
we get shirts.
It'll happen. It'll
for
happen.
sure.
Well, if I could, I had a little bit of a fiasco with the label printing. I had to push back a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be doing like a 5-year anniversary scent, so I want to have a bunch of swag going for that. And it's going to be like the stickers that you've seen.
Yeah.
So like that on the shirt and stuff like that. But I had to push that back just because now my releases are very crowded. So I just didn't want
Oh, absolutely.
that in there. So I'll probably end up doing that December or January now.
Gotcha. Well, as long as it happens, that's obviously all I care about.
Down.
It's
So,
Put me down. So, Sean, walk us through your product line. So obviously we know about the shave soaps and aftershaves, but
Yep. Well, I've just started going hard on getting my beard stuff going again. Just making sure I'm happy with the look, because I kind of tried to translate the look I have for the shave stuff onto the beard oils and the beard balms, but I just didn't like the way it looked in that smaller format. So I come up with something based on my Explorer series. So right there, that's what balms are going to look like.
nice.
And
I
then
like that.
yeah, and then here beard oils, I've just switched to a black. I don't know if that's in focus or not, but yeah, so getting those going again. Then I also have all-purpose butter, which is good for beard. It's good for skin. It's not water-based, so it's very heavy. It's very thick, but a little bit goes a long way. Perfect for Alberta climates because we're like super dry here. Obviously, I've got the hand soaps. I try to match my mainline scents with the hand soap. There it is.
Yeah.
Dabbled in solid clones a little bit. Some minor skin stuff, but I don't really do that as much now that I'm not doing markets. And then, yeah, a big one when we were doing markets was diffuser blends. People love those.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, that would be some of the cabin series would be unbelievable. Yeah, autumn cabin.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you could, but the thing is like they have fragrance oils in them, which they can be overpowering.
Yeah.
So typically do that for like any custom request. Like I'm okay with that, but typically I try to keep it to essential oils because it's a little bit less cloying.
Yeah.
Nice. Go ahead, J-Mac.
But yeah, that's all.
Speaking of the cabin series, so that was seems to be a pretty popular one. What was the inspiration for the cabin series? And also on a slight kind of fun note, when can we expect like I don't know, like a worst cabin maybe, or a sloppy cabin in the woods, or
Yeah, well, I was thinking, John and I were joking about having an unscented cabin, and then it's just a picture of a forest, and there's no cabin at all. I don't know what to call that, but Yeah, that kind of started with trying to put more of myself into the business, just because that's how you make it unique, is just try to make it personal to you. And then I enjoy the outdoors, obviously, and hiking and like cabins, especially in fall. So I just kind of was inspired by that. And then it did so well that I figured, let's do one for every season. And yeah.
Nice, nice, nice.
Yeah.
A name change, or not a name change, a name suggestion possibly if you do an unscented with a cabin, abandoned cabin or empty cabin.
That's a good one.
Ooh. J-Mac, my man, that's awesome. Abandoned cabin, I'm down for that. That's cool.
Every single time I introduce a new cabin, I figure I piss off the collectors because that means they have to buy another one. So I want to tread lightly with that.
Yeah, well,
thanks.
John, well, you and
Thanks.
John, I mean, and you and John ruined me with that nice piff, because now he sent me down that rabbit hole too. So thanks, John.
Yeah.
Because yeah, they're all great.
Do you have for that one other than Autumn Cabin, obviously, because that's everyone's?
I like Winter Cabin. I like that one too. I do like that one too. But I mean, I like them all really. But
Yeah,
but they're all great. But yeah, I think with Autumn Cabin, like, man, I don't know what you did with that one, but that one's just fantastic. Like, my favorite time of year is actually walking in the woods, especially that time of year, like when you could smell the decomposing leaves and that in the trails, and that's what you smell as soon as you open the tub, and it's like, oh, like, seriously,
Yeah,
so good.
that was an inspired one. It's
so good. I like it because also my oldest daughter is named Autumn, so. But
Nice.
so she's claimed this as her own. She let me borrow it this morning for a shave, so that was nice. So yeah. So go ahead, Sloppy.
So you were talking about outdoors being a big inspiration. I think anyone who has smelled at least some of your soaps, you also get a lot of gourmand inspiration. And I don't want to throw that out like, oh, it's just a foodie scent. You combine both differently than I think any other soap maker. So you're looking at, and you do have some kind of straight gourmands, but a lot of them are combination outdoors and the gourmand that come together. And what brought you to doing as many of those as you have?
Oh, well, John, I'm a man of taste. No, no, I like gourmand, but I don't like it cloying. I don't like it too intense, so I try to just get just enough in there to give you that sense. And then like cedar and evergreens, they blend with everything. Like, they're so easy to work with, so it's a good way to, like the lavender and spruce scent I did, Dark Sky Preserve. That's another example of that, because like so many soap makers that do like hand soaps, if you've ever been to the markets, there's always a lavender vanilla, like every single time. So it's like the lavender and spruce thing was just a way for me to like get that sweetness of the evergreen, but like just in a different approach, right? So that's why that worked for me. So that's kind of like the gourmand approach, I guess. I just try to keep it chill and like not overpowering. So
Absolutely. And again, I think you do a real good job with that. The outdoor being the counterpoint to the food notes that are in there. So I would assume you're a bit of a foodie, perhaps.
yeah, not to out me as a hipster nerd or anything, but yeah, I'm into cooking and all of that, and wine and craft beer, whiskey.
Nice.
Good. J-Mac, you're like speaking the language.
J-Mac, you got a little drool.
Yeah.
Talking about whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely have to say,
Both.
yeah, birch root and cream soda are my jam. So the way I do it is I will, like with this one, I'll have a cold cream soda and sip on that for my shaverage while I'm shaving with cream soda. And I do the same with birch root. So, oh yeah, almond biscotti. That's just amazing. So,
Just about the cream soda, I just got to touch on this because I get so many comments about how people say this smells nothing like cream soda at all.
Really?
But it's just Canadian cream soda, maybe, where it came in like pink crush, whereas like a traditional cream soda, I think is just basically vanilla, as far as I know.
Mm.
Yep.
I don't know. I just wanted to touch on that because I get a lot of
Yeah.
that they're like they love it, but
I pair it up with Jones cream soda or Fago, which is here in Michigan. So both pair nicely with this. So I've also done Jones orange cream soda too, and that yeah works really nice. So, but yeah. So what was been one of the biggest challenges that McDuff's has faced, and how did you overcome it?
waking up on time every day, I guess. There, a lot of you guys who know me from a few years ago, we had that bass funk issue. That was a kind of a disaster, but I don't know. I think it's responsible in a lot of ways for how far I've come now with like having a great bass and stuff like that. What it was the goat milk was being added to the lye solution when the lye was too hot, so it was burning the goat milk,
Oh.
and so it was giving kind of like really bad aroma that couldn't smell in the base, but you have to let it for a couple days first, and then it would come out. So like it's kind of under the radar, and I sent out all of this stuff, and yeah, it was a disaster, but I overcame that by just I guess being honest about it and owning up. He was upset, just like, yo, you're right. Not everybody was understanding of it, but that's fair. They bought a product, didn't meet expectations. What can you do about that? But yeah, after that, I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to come back from this and make an awesome bass. And yeah, that's where V4 came from, which I'm still.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a big advocate for your bass. It's amazing. I absolutely just love it. My skin loves it. So, like I said, I used Autumn Cabin this morning, and yeah, so good. It was funny. I was taking my girls to school this morning, and we picked up one of their schoolmates on the way. They're like, "Did you eat pancakes?" I'm like, yeah, maple syrup. And I'm like, my youngest is like, "That's my dad." That's right.
Do you think it work as a cologne, or is that too much? Just
Me personally, because like J-Mac, I love this time of year and that scent, but also just the way that hit. Like this morning, it was like a big hit for like my whole family. Loved it.
yeah.
So, but like I said, that's just my taste. I dig it. So
Just that
I would rock it myself.
year, so you wouldn't want to get like surrounded by wasps, like looking for a sweet treat. I don't
Right.
know.
That's true. So, but it'll snow soon here in Michigan, so give it time.
Yeah, here too. Almost in October. That's usually when we get our first snow. So
Yeah. So go ahead, J-Mac.
So building off of that with the base issue you had early on, so how do you ensure the quality of your products now? Like, do you have like a little tester group out there in Edmonton and that, or some
just
few people you send things out to, or?
just customer feedback. That's been the biggest for me. I couldn't imagine how I would do quality without that. So that's why again it's so important. If there is an issue or whatever it might be, how small it is, like reach out to me and let me know, because like if I don't know about it, I can't fix it, right?
Yeah.
So I try my best on my own, but I have my own perspective, and you get into a zone, and your natural blinders go on, so it's nice to have that outside perspective and help you out with that. So again, always reach out.
100%.
Go ahead, John.
So you're talking about the customer feedback being important. Do you get any of the scent inspiration, or is there a percentage of the scent inspiration that comes from customer requests or begging or threatening or I'm aware of how customers are.
That sounds
Yeah.
specific.
Well, I guess I have my Explorer series for that. So if like somebody wants something custom within reason, I could do that. It's a little bit extra, but not much, because like I have a master batch and I just kind of heat it up so it gels again. Otherwise, it doesn't get hard. The soap, but yeah, it's honestly just weird stuff that's in my life. That's yeah. like the Sauvignon Blanc. That's my favorite white wine. So I was just like, you know what? Why don't I try to do a cool scent with that? You know, so I just have these like weird ideas, and this is kind of where I think my outside status helps a little bit because I'm not really familiar with the tradition of like what's a wet shaving scent, like a real barber shop or a real bay rum or you know, all of that type of stuff. Like that's pretty foreign to me. So like in a way though, that kind of frees me to just come up with weird ideas, and 90% of the time it pays off, you know. So
Yeah, that's an interesting take on that. Yeah, actually, it's something I never considered before you mentioned that. Yeah, you are, yeah, isolated from that, so there's no real influence.
yeah, it's something I would
That's it.
like to get. But I mean, like, how can I compete with a guy who like loves bay rum and he's been like he has all this like context and stuff like that? Like, that's the person you want to make your bay rum. Like, I can't be everything to everybody. So I try to like stay in my lane and like do the best I can with coming up with scents that mean something to me. And then, you know, if you want a authentic barbershop or bay rum, like there's a bunch of guys who do that already, and I can't do it better than them. So.
Nice. So, how has modern technology played a role in your recent product development? So, I know you were also kind of talking about like the like your labels and graphics and stuff like that. So,
Oh yeah, well, I mean, AI is off the hook. It's amazing for that, and it's like, uh, um, the more specific you get with your prompts, the more you can get something that you envision. The more generic your prompts are, the more the AI will take over for you. You can already see that there's some AI cliches. I'm not going to touch base on what those are, but I want to avoid those because like you might be able to immediately tell it's AI artwork. But for me, it's just like another tool to realize a vision that I couldn't before. Right before, I was just using royalty-free stock photos and then doing my best to make it look like they were in a stock photo, like through photo editors and stuff like that. So like that's opened up a completely other avenue. And a lot of the times that artwork might inspire a scent where it's like you come up with a cool piece of art and then you're like, well, I want to have something that's going to go along with that. Um,
yeah,
also,
like this one for an example comes to mind.
that's a royalty-free photo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know like Jacob Heron and like J Mac, they're guitarists. There's a few others that are out there.
Yeah.
This speaks to them on so many levels. J
Mhm.
Mac, I'm sure you kind of speak on that a little bit, but when you open it up, it's like, okay, so I'm looking at this and I'm like, what am I going to smell? But
Yeah.
it just works so well when you look at the picture and then you smell the scent.
Yeah.
It just works together.
Uh, what's really important and what I love about the wet shaving, like you can tell the story with the picture before you even get that thing open, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
about again, unique trying to put myself into it is because I'm a musician, so like rosewood fretboards, right?
I,
So I'm like,
I was just gonna say that I've never seen that as a scent note or a scent ID in a soap ever until you did that, and I smelled that soap and I was like, damn, that smells like a rosewood fretboard.
yeah, exactly. And like
Like,
leather strap. Um, some guitars are made with mahogany, so I threw that in there, and then tobacco, because if you've ever played gigs, especially before they banned smoking everywhere, like just kind of part and parcel of playing a gig is smelling cigarettes, you know.
yep.
So at least it's high quality tobacco though. Like, well, I wonder if anyone's ever done like an ashtray scent, maybe for April.
That's true. Yeah, I used to play drums too, so a fellow
Okay.
musician. But I wonder if anybody's ever done like after the set, the end of the night, that smell.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Mm.
That would probably just be like, yeah, well, kind of like you can almost make that a generic scent, like just sweat and tobacco and whiskey or sour beer or something. And,
Yeah.
It could
Bad
work.
decisions and disappointment.
yeah, and regret.
Yeah.
And regret. Yeah.
Large drink tabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The good news is you made $50 playing the show tonight. The bad news is your band has a $900 bar tab. So
Yeah.
Love it.
Other like than that. Like the AI is great. I don't know if you guys have used ChatGPT at all, but it's probably gonna like end up replacing Google because like you can literally just have this conversation with ChatGPT. Like I've done it for like what notes would go with this, and then it'll just start having this conversation with you about like some potential pairing, and then you can just go like, well, where am I gonna get these? And then it'll just give you this list of where you can get all those ingredients.
Ooh.
Like it just more
Man.
personalized and specific than Google, where like Google you got to like hunt and like cherry pick and stuff like that. So that's another way. And then more maybe obvious is like YouTube, because how did I come up with a good base? Well, Google, YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And obviously trial and error, but
Yeah.
really like, the information is out there for anyone that wants it to like I've started following perfumery channels and stuff like that just to learn about like interesting scent note combinations. So that's maybe a little bit more broader, but yeah, I mean, and then this, like being able to connect with customers directly and stuff like that for the feedback we're talking about. Like imagine this 30 years ago. Like how are you going to get that customer back, when they don't have that direct line to you? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, sending things over a 56K modem and AOL.
Yeah, I remember those days. Oh,
Dial-up mode. Oh man, go ahead, J Mac. What do you got, brother?
What would some of your advice be to new users of your products for the first time? Any tips or tricks from
well,
MacDuffs?
you guys already know what I'm going to say, but it's a soft as hell base. Don't overload it, and if you do, lots of water.
Yeah.
So I would always suggest bowl lathering rather than right off the tub. I mean, some people can do it, but you're gonna be liable to overload it. So
yeah,
just have a light touch, and if you do overload it, it takes a lot of water, and that stuff it'll just bloom out. So
for days, for
yeah,
days. It is an incredible base. I find that what works best for me with your base is I treat it just like a cream. So I'll like soak my brush, and I'll squeeze the excess water out. I'll literally take my finger, take like a little scoopful of soap, and I'll just smear it into the brush knot and then into a bowl, or face lather with it, and just treat it exactly like a cream, and just it lathers up just like that.
the Jesus vegans, I love overloading McDuffs. Yeah. Another thing though, it's like if it really does bother you too much, like you can just leave the lid off, and then that moisture content is going to just slowly evaporate, and then it will firm up a little bit. I mean, it's not going to be like a hard puck that you need to bloom ever, but it will get firmer over time. So, but yeah,
and if you run out, I know where you can get more. So,
cardamom chai, I would definitely, if you're into that stuff, grab some of that, because that was a popular one for sure.
Best one ever.
Oh, I love it. Love it. This is one of Crystal's favorites too. She loves this. So I think she actually has a few more sets of MacDuffs than I do. So she's a D-Gen just like us. So go ahead, John. What you got there, bud?
So I got kind of two things. I'll play off the talking about the soap base. I've had one or two people contact me and say, "Hey, got MacDuffs. Why is it stringy?" I'm freaking out. So I'm trying to make lather, and I get a little bit of this. Well, you got too much soap. Add some more water. You'll be fine. So it's kind of unique to yours, but I think obviously it's ingredients, but the richness of that soap base is. I mean, I know that some of these people are tub loading for like 30, 40 seconds.
Exactly.
No, maybe wet the brush, and I agree. So bowl lathering, I think is better at least to start out with, but wet the brush really good and try 5 or 6 swirls and go from there.
Yeah.
No need for a strongman arm pushing into it either.
Yeah, like one of the reasons why it explodes so quick, I believe anyways, I'm not like a soap scientist like some of the other artisans, but it's got a very high ratio of potassium lye to sodium lye, sodium hydroxide. Like, so if you're just making a regular hand soap, you only use sodium hydroxide lye, and that makes it nice and firm. On the other end, if you want to make a liquid soap, you use just potassium, and that gives you like a paste that you make with water, right? So most shave soap might have like a 50-50 or 60-40 ratio with the higher end of the potassium to give it that softness, where mine is actually a lot higher than that. And so that makes it more miscible in water. And then I also have an insanely high super fat. And so the super fat is the oil you add in after the lye reaction is done. And so you just have the properties of the oil. And then, of course, the oil is soft. So that's going to make your soap soft. So that's why it's so slick, though, you know. So it's kind of a trade-off. And like I always say, you know, there's lots of soaps out there that are nice and hard. And if that's your thing, you know, like, again, I can't be everything to everybody, but this is what I'm comfortable doing. And for most people, it seems to work. I do try to put it in the listing so you know what you're getting. Like, this is a soap. But yeah, I guess you can't overstate it enough, because some people are still surprised when they get it. And I've had some customers try to bloom it, and you can imagine what a disaster that would be.
Soup. Be soup. But
Yeah.
Don't
But
do
I mean,
it.
if they don't, you know, if they don't know, if they're used to doing it with one soap, you know, they may not, you know, if they think, well, I got to do this with every soap that's out there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
And I don't fault the customer for that. Like, I'll give a refund because like it was my failure to make sure that that was communicated right, because it does stand out from other soaps. So like, you need to know. So it's like I just attempt to get that knowledge out there better. And again, back to technology, this is one of the ways you can do that. And but yeah, 100% bull lather that stuff.
So that could be put, let's say, I don't know, on a shirt, that
Yes.
information.
Yeah.
Not to harp on the shirts, but I'm just saying,
We
you
got
could have like a little IKEA-esque diagram with no words and just little, people on there for
yeah,
directing.
a 4 square little diagram.
nice.
If I fit that as a logo and put that on the side of my subs, maybe I could, you know.
So if you know someone Swedish, like I don't know, Chris from Carve, he loves to do stick figures. I'd recommend him for the artwork.
Actually, Carve is just a few blocks from where I live.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If
Nice.
this gets back to him, that'd be awesome. I would love to see that happen.
So, just, what's one of the most rewarding aspects of your work, Sean?
Well, sometimes it blows my mind how much people connect to the scents. You know, like there's a lot of, I guess, scent is connected to nostalgia and like emotion a lot. So like sometimes, you know, it's kind of you get absorbed in what you're doing and you don't really see like the broader context sometimes, and then like it really means things to people. And so like, yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then honestly though, like running a business like outside of the wet shaving thing is just kind of it's about, I don't know, elevating yourself and like you doing better than yesterday. Like there's a lot of room for personal growth here. That's like what, at least for me, it wasn't possible when I was working a 9 to 5 job. So like just as a person, I've grown a ton just because the business required it, really. Like, you know, you can't get out. So like just about like self-discipline and like, yeah, that's, to me, that's what it's all about, you know. It's just being a better person and connecting with people, and also just indulging myself creatively, you know, or creatively.
Nice. Well, yeah, it definitely comes out in your work, my brother. It definitely comes out. So, yeah, bravo, man, bravo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, J Mac.
Anything new on the horizon for 2023 possibly you could talk about? Or give the audience a little sneak peek on?
What do you mean, the scents?
Yeah, if you got some new scents in the works, maybe you could tease or talk about.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. Well, again, unfortunately, just because there's like this label fiasco, like Autumn Cabin and Harvest Sky were released 3 weeks ago, but there's a huge kerfuffle with the labels. Yeah, release tomorrow in the States, so I hope you guys are upset. Harvest Sky is my first apple scent. So
Save me one. That one's mine.
okay.
Thank you.
And yeah, so I want to have early October Haunted Cabin again, second year. And then I actually have a restock of Wild Rose Country, which was supposed to be just a one-off seasonal, but people loved it so much that, yeah, I made another batch of that. And I'm actually going to introduce a lineup of other things. So I made a hand soap for it, and I'm going to be making a beard balm for it and beard oil. And Chris, see 2 new scents. So I'm going to be doing Christmas Cabin again. Obviously, I think people would murder me if I discontinued that. And then I have 2 more Santa scents. So I'm going to have like a Santa trilogy.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so that's
So there's already Bad Santa.
Yeah.
Technically not Santa theme, but Christmas theme. So Candy Cane, Christmas Cabin.
Yeah, Candy Cane I did last year. I'm not going to be doing that one again this year. I have, I don't know, maybe like 15 or 20 labels left. Maybe I'll offer that on my site for people who missed out on that last year. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is just a mint scent, and those ones just don't do as well, you know, like, and plus, especially since I have Icefields Parkway already, which is my soap. So it's just like, there's not enough difference to justify having both. But I did change the label for Bad Santa. I don't know if that's going to ruffle feathers or not, but I can actually go grab it if you guys want to get a sneak peek.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. I mean, if we have to.
Oh yeah,
So
there
the
you go.
old one.
Yeah. So that was last year's, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Love that.
So do
So
you think there'll
excited.
be shirts by the end of this? I don't know what.
I think they're printing now.
50-50. 50-50.
The order's been done.
Okay. You guys see that?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah, he's looking pretty self-satisfied there.
Yeah, man. And
that's cool.
And you did mention you know, if people would be upset about that or not. I don't think people would be at all. That's one thing I noticed in this hobby, and another artisan has done that with their seasonal releases as well. First Canadian with Dick and Ciders. So every year it's a different label, and some people just have to have the set. And I know John right down there is, as much as he'd hate to agree, he's like, yes.
Sorry, what?
Yes, to have the set.
Faster?
What's
What
that?
was the scent name? Do you want to say that a little faster? I didn't quite.
Cider.
But yeah, so you can kind of tell it's like got a vaporwave, cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So the Santa's trilogy is all going to be this vibe. So there's 2 other.
Nice.
See, that's my jam, man. Like 80s synthwave, that kind of stuff, man. The RGB lighting like you got. Oh, that's my jam, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not something I could have realized, being that I'm not a graphic designer, you know. So now that AI is readily available, it's like that's something that I was able to like conceive of and then actually implement, you know. It's like, it's amazing. So
oh, that's so cool. Sold. Done.
Yeah. Good.
Already
So,
in my den.
the scent is the same for Bad Santa, though, more or less. Maybe some balancing tweaks. I usually do that every release. It's just keep the spirit of it the same, but yeah. So don't worry about that.
Nice. Well, put me down for a set of each. I'll tell you that much. I'm enabled very easily, as
Good.
these guys get. It doesn't take much. If I don't get it, Crystal will get it anyway. So no matter what, it'll end up in our house.
That's going to be the best dynamic possible. It's like, yeah, I don't think I should buy this soap set. I bought enough soap. Then your wife's like, oh, I'm buying it then.
It's like, oh, by the way, here it is.
Because I work in the store where you can get it. I mean, that's the worst scenario possible, not the best. It could be the worst.
That's right. So, speaking of, go ahead, John. What do you got, buddy?
So, you talked about a couple scents that you're going to come out with, any other areas that you want the company to get into, and follow up, where would you like to see the company in like 3 to 5 years? What do you want to see differently?
I really want to do clones. I know I get asked for it all the time. That's just the natural evolution.
Yeah.
It's just been a little bit of a logistic issue. Yeah.
This one for sure.
I'm just like right now though, like just like the logistics. I'm not sure what would be better, just because I have no context, so I don't know what to do about like label quantities and like how many cents. Because like the more different types of labels you order, the more expensive it gets. Whereas if I just have like one type of label, that's a good question. Is like, would you guys prefer all the labels to look like the shave soap, so you have that like nice matching set, or prefer more flexibility on my side where I'll do something like the Explorer series, like I did with the Rosemary Sea Salt, where I like have a generic label, I can get a whole whack of them, and then I can just write in by hand on the side or something what it is, or that kind of like diminish the prestige of it? Like, what do you guys think of that?
So I don't think it does. I know people who would say that, but it's kind of, so if you look at like Bricktown Grooming,
Yeah.
he was writing in on every last splash bottle, and people are kind of upset that that's not going to happen anymore. I don't know. I think it brings you close to the customer.
Yeah, I
Just
agree.
maybe after a couple of years of that, then I could actually have like some context, and then actually, you know, maybe make a label order that makes sense. But like, I would just be going in blind. I would have no idea how many to order, and like, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that big of a risk, but just at least with having the generic label, I'm just way more flexible and like going backwards and like bringing up to date with like some of the love scents that I've done in the past, right? Where it wouldn't really make sense to, you know, have however many labels I would have to get, because they really punish you if you just have like a small amount, and like you need to get it under like 50 cents Canadian for a good amount. Whereas if you buy just a few, they'll charge you like $2 to $3 a label, at least. And that like that just gets so cost prohibitive that like it just doesn't make sense anymore. So that's like, having the generic label would be a good way to have my cake and eat it too. But yeah, you guys would think about that. So
Yeah.
So
I know,
definitely,
like for me, and I know Crystal, we're like the matchy kind of people. So we like to see everything match,
yeah,
identical. You know, so we're weird like that.
yeah,
But
but the days are a big deal. Like, so I understand that. Like, maybe if it's just in your shelf and you're not on Instagram, maybe it's not like a big deal to you.
right.
Trying to present photos and stuff like that. So like, yeah, I definitely get that side too. But yeah,
and they're going to be just fragrance people who could care less about wet shaving, and
exactly.
they're not going to enjoy the, you know, the continuity as much, because they'll, you know, why would you do this? Why wouldn't you just do its own thing? So that's,
Yeah.
obviously there's a lot of considerations in that.
Yeah, exactly. And then that kind of speaks to where I'd like to be in 5 years. It's like, I feel like my loyalties lie more to the scenting of things, and the shave soap is more just a vehicle for me to get those scents out. So I can see myself uh, maybe taking some courses and stuff like that to like make it legit, and maybe end up more on the frag side of things, because that's where all my inspiration is. I mean, other than the labels, like, because like those 4-inch circles are great for coming up with great looking labels that wouldn't really make sense on a little tiny bottle of cologne. But yeah, the scenting aspect is definitely my favorite part. So I can see myself leaning more into that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, honestly, you could make a fragrance of this and throw it in an old Windex bottle. I could care less, as long as I have it. So, just saying.
Maybe a Windex scent, actually.
I'm down for whatever. So, so outside of um, McDuff, so what is it that you do? I know you kind of mentioned a little bit earlier. So what else do you do outside of this, like for fun, things like that, Sean?
Mostly music is my jam, no pun intended. I play bass in a band. I play guitar. I dabble on drums. I'll just, like you saw already, there's my
Oh,
drums.
oh, let me at him. Oh,
Yeah, and then where we got some of my guitars there. So that Strat is my main guitar. I actually just got it refretted. I took it in to get set up, and the dude was just like, I could try to set it up, but your frets are so flat. So like that just a little testament to how much I play that. Can you see that? There's my telly. Got a custom pit guard on there.
Beauty.
I'm down, J-Mac.
And then I can't really see what I'm doing here, but there's some other guitars. Yeah, I have 11 guitars, and then so I do a lot of that. But yeah, I'd like to a lesser extent outdoor stuff. I like hiking, snowshoeing, snowboarding, that type of thing. Done a lot of kayaking. I got a couple of ocean kayaks. So I love going to like Vancouver Island just because it's got everything. It's got lakes, it's got mountains, it's got the oceans, and it's got wineries. So it's got everything.
Yeah, we got a little bit of that. Not the oceans, but I mean, we got a lot of lakes here in Michigan. There's wineries up the state, things like that, mountain ranges and all that kind of stuff. Beautiful coming this time of year for fall. But so what's you like type of music? What's your favorite genre?
To listen to, I like. There's a lot of new, like a soul revival. Like a lot of like Otis Redding.
Ooh, yeah.
Like Daptone Records. So they had like Charles Bradley, Sharon Jones, and the Dap Kings, the Budos Band. And like what's kind of interesting about them is like they're like kind of like a big group of musicians that are all like in the same band. Like these guys played on like Amy Winehouse's Back in Black.
Yeah.
Bass player is like the touring bass player for the Black Keys. You know, so like these guys, yeah, they're pretty cool. So like there's that whole big revival. But
That's nice. Yeah, Black Keys is my jam, man. I love their work.
yeah, bro,
Yeah.
my favorite album of theirs. I feel like that's kind of like their pinnacle, where they just huge throwback to that type of music. But like what I play tends to be a little bit more aggressive, which is funny. But like I like psychedelic and prog and stuff like that. So
Nice.
Any blues?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Nice. I know that's J-Mac. That's your jam, bud.
Blues, rock, country, metal.
Yeah, I used to be a huge metalhead growing up. Metallica's first 4 albums, cut my teeth on guitar learning those.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's. I'm a telly guy now too, but I have a Lester, and that's the Lester comes out when it's time to shred through a bit of Master of Puppets or something. So.
Right on.
Yeah, I love it.
Is this where I get to talk about my kazoo abilities and how I'm looking for a band to do electric kazoo in?
Well, I mean, if any band needs a cover of Cross Down Traffic by Jimi Hendrix,
Nice.
So, hey, man.
Do it.
People...
Keep it up with music. Go ahead, J-Mac.
Any questions from the audience? We haven't even delved into the
cue
box.
Unless
Pretty road.
We got a giveaway.
And we got a giveaway to do too. Yeah. So, fellow Canadian brother, beautiful human being, Carlos, Shave on Gents. Sean, who is your favorite wet shaver and why is it Sloppy Badger?
It's Sloppy Badger because he shows the initiative and makes swag for me because I've dropped the ball on that. And he just understands the essence of what it is to be a cabin soap.
That's right.
He understands the and how every soap deserves to be called a cabin of some kind.
So full disclosure, Sean is probably the most patient person on the planet between ridiculous DMs that I send him, stupid ideas. And every time a new soap comes out, I change the name to a cabin series name. So
hey, don't take credit. I'm in on that too.
Oh, you've had some doozies. They won't be shared, but you've had some doozies.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's also spearheading the new merchandise, so keep an eye out for that.
He's
Another remote
I need.
employee job.
Just reminding me I need to get my act together and get some swag going because he has all his own shirt.
That's right.
So this with a gray shirt and white lettering, and I'm good.
That's right.
Right on.
Dewey, so he says, huge fan, Sean. Thanks for providing amazing products to us hobbyists, wet shavers. Good luck and prosperity in your future endeavors, my man.
Thank you.
DJ Ja Rule, Sean, would you ever actually share a cabin with John?
He doesn't own that many soaps yet, so I don't think so.
I'm only at like 20 or 21. I can only, you know.
Rookie numbers, John.
Soaps
Rookie
before
numbers.
Nice. Peter, the shaving cyclist, when does the worst cabin ever release? They want to know.
Well, I mean, we have to come up with the scent for that.
Despair.
I have a few ideas.
Yeah.
Regret.
Yeah.
Second thoughts. Art Shaves, I like the collab you did with Stewart as a tribute to Miles Davis. Are there any more tribute sets coming? So
a restock is actually, on the way to them right now.
Mm-hmm.
And just as a heads up, they have allowed me to keep a few sets to sell to Canadians, just because it's kind of, especially like in Edmonton, got a few. Kind of insane to send it to New York, however thousands of kilometers that is, and then just ship it back to Edmonton. So I don't think that affects their sales, so they didn't care too much. But like tributes, I do have another collab with Pastors coming. I wouldn't really call it on the same level as tribute, though. That was just more New York is known for jazz, and I was doing 30% jazz club dupe on that. So that's where the Miles Davis thing came from. But I guess people probably want to see more music stuff.
It's been popular so far.
Yeah. They almost sold out before it was even released on the pre-order on that one.
Man.
Well, I'm a big Prince fan. Love the purple. So if you ever do one in regard to the purple one, I'm down. I don't know what kind of scent that would be, but oh man. So yep, same thing. Yep, Ken, same thing. Worst cabin ever. That needs to happen. She's the vegan. Seth, have you ever smelled an all mahogany guitar? It's one of the best scents in the world.
Yeah, my buddy's got one of those little Martin guitars that are mahogany. It sounds amazing. I think it's kind of similar to the ones that Nick Drake did or used. If you guys know who Nick Drake is, it's like the depressed singer-songwriter that wrote sad songs, but he had a little tiny. At least I think he did. I could be talking on my ass here, but.
So I know he also asked about your current soap base. How did you arrive to it? I know you'd mentioned that earlier. Unanimously agree that it is one of the best soap bases available.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Now,
Yeah.
you have a question. So is this your full-time job now?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Nice. Because I know you said you had a 9 to 5 earlier in this.
Yeah, I quit my job as like a landscaper in 2015 to play music full time, and then hated that almost instantly, unfortunately.
Really? Yeah.
But that was I wasn't putting in the proper energy, because it's like being good at music's not enough. You got to like constantly network and like put yourself out there, and like I was teaching guitar, and like as much time as you spend teaching, you need to be attracting students. And I just really wasn't committed to doing that at the time. And then I already knew I wanted to start a business at some point, and then just kind of stumbled on the soap thing. And then, and then the pandemic hit, and then just ended all my students like that overnight. So
yeah. Oh man. How did you end up recreating the toasted maple scent? As you said, there is none in existence for Autumn Cabin.
Well, I got roasted pretty bad on an email that's kind of legendary. I won't get into details too much about that, but so that kind of inspired me to like, what if I can come up with something that's close it to what a maple essential oil would actually smell like. Because like essential oils come from oils, right?
Yeah.
So that's not the leaves, it's not the bark, it's like needles, right? So there's oils in pine needles and fir needle and stuff like that. So there's nothing like that on a maple tree. So what I did was I just combined some of the heavier and sweeter cedars like Atlas cedar, Himalayan cedar, mix it with some evergreens for that natural sweetness, and then I add a little bit of cade, which is, if you're into humidity at all, smoky smell. Very, very potent. Like even if you dilute that to 2%, you're going to want to put less than 1% into your blend because it's just like it's so powerful. But yeah, so I took the challenge and then I made that as a diffuser blend, and then I started adding it to Autumn Cabin just as a little bit of realism. Because like, yeah, fragrance oils can be like really dense and essential oils are a lot lighter. So that's why I try to use essential oils as well, just because they open up the scent a little bit so it's not too heavy.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Excellent.
Well, I love it. It definitely is an amazing scent. So plus the label is amazing. Now, so people are asking if they were that would come out in a beard oil because people want that.
Cabin or the toasted maple? Because I can do both.
Yeah, I think they were asking about the. I believe it was DJ that asked about it. Maple bourbon beard oil. I'm sorry.
Well, if that's a custom, I mean, yeah, they can contact me and I can do my best. But yeah, so with the beard oils, I limited it to 6 of my scents just for logistic reasons. But I also did the Explorer series like I have with my shave soap, where I can write in on the side whatever the scent is. And that's very, very easy with beard oils because like I make them to order anyways. So you just scent with the master batch of the beard oil. So I mean, like whatever scent I have, or if I still have the ingredients, I can easily make as a beard oil. It wouldn't have the same label. It would just say maybe Explorer series, and then on the side I would write in like what the scent is. So definitely hit me up. I can make my other product or my other products in the scents that I have. So
Nice. See, that's what I'm talking about. And speaking of also newer products, you got something coming up pretty soon too with Caleb with Ellsworth Razors.
Yep. If you guys have seen the announcements, Caleb approached me. He wanted something that would be like Viking-esque. I tried a few things because like he wanted a leather scent potentially mixed with mead, and very quickly discovered when you take at least the fragrance I have, that's honey. If you have raspberry methylogen, that's in that one. When you mix it with leather, it smells like salami, like instantly. So like that got really quick.
Which would be perfect for the Portuguese men, by the way. I'm just saying.
Or Vinny, or Vinny Gabagool.
If there's any like wannabe startup soap makers or perfumers out there, and if you want to have a meat smell, mix honey with leather. So that didn't work, and we tried a few other things, and then eventually I tried to make it like the manliest smell possible. So that's what we ended up with. It's just a very robust evergreen oud and musk and leather. So, I'm not sure exactly when the release date is, and I'm not sure if he's announced it, so I don't want to say anything beyond that. But it is on his way to him, so he should have them by the end of the week.
I've got some extra cash that I'll just send you, and we won't say anything. You just send me a set like now, I think, and that's fair. That's fair.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
That because I'm getting a lot of questions about this. This is only going to be available on his site.
Yep.
I'm not for my site, so because a lot of people bugging me about that. So
that's Caleb's fault, and I feel okay about blaming him for it. So.
It's gonna be amazing. I cannot wait. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
That sound awesome
So-
on that. Sound.
Let's give away. So Jason said it's going to be winner's choice of either, if they don't have it, cream soda or American Vintage Soap and Splash.
Nice.
So winner's choice. So the way we do it, Sean, is we see how many viewers we have, and then we have you pick a number. I count it, and we'll see who the winner is. So we have 54 people in here right now. So go ahead, pick a number between 1 and 54, and I will see who the winner is.
Just because I have narcissistic tendencies, I'm going to pick 40 because I just turned 40 this summer. So let's
Right on. Welcome to the club, bud.
Angelo. Get to work.
And while I'm doing that, you guys more than happy ask the man some questions.
Go ahead, John.
I think I'm actually out. You said you don't really wet shave, but you got into it a little bit, I would assume.
Yeah. I use my own products on my face, like my cheeks and my neck now, and like it feels good. Like I've almost been tempted to shave my beard just to see what it would feel like, but no.
Just kept it at bay. What kind of hardware do you use, out of curiosity?
I just have some razor that takes blades. I don't know. I got a brush on Amazon that was like $30, and I got a bowl from Thirsty Badger because.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think I know a guy in Edmonton that makes some pretty okay razors there.
Yeah, I got someone's guitar gear to buy though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I hear you. Yeah.
So this is going to go to Death Skull.
Nice.
996.
Congrats, Joe.
Congratulations.
Congrats. That's cool.
So I will reach out to you, and we'll see if we can let me know. One, of course, if you don't have these sets, which sets that you would want. So yeah. But if you have them both, hopefully it's watching. So either one of these, Death Skull, let me know, and we can figure that out and get that out to you. So congratulations. He should still be here. So yeah. J-Mac, you got anything else, my brother?
I don't. I'm good. Awesome getting to talk to Sean tonight, though, man. This is fellow Canadian boy, fellow musician, soap maker extraordinaire. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, I'm somewhat of a Luddite when it comes to technology. So this is the first live stream I've ever done, oddly enough, because I've done this since 2018. So
awesome. Well, we're stoked that we were your first, man.
Good.
Right on. And so Death Skull, if you're watching, so Joe, yes.
You may have to send him a message.
Yeah, I'm gonna send him a message. So he went either one of those. So we'll figure it out afterwards. So yeah, so thanks a lot, man. Thank you, Sean, for coming on. Just gonna wrap up the spotlight. It's an amazing get to know you and everything like that. So
next one I'll have lights because you can't see my face. I didn't realize how bad it would be. So
oh dude, it's awesome. It sets the mood.
Yeah. Sure.
Kind of like a sneak peek prerequisite to those labels coming out for Christmas.
Yeah, well,
That's right.
I'll just show that again for all the new joiners. Here's the new label for Bad Santa.
So good.
Looking very badass. And then
Yes.
the other two Santas are going to be kind of along that theme a little bit. So I'm going to try to tell a story over 3 listings, kind of see how that goes.
Nice.
So he chose American Vintage.
Right.
My man.
Good choice.
All right. So I'll set this
Excellent
aside
choice.
for you. Get your shipping info, Joe, and then yes, right on. And enjoy it. So yeah, cool. J-Mac, John, Sloppy's a Badger. You guys, thank you so much for coming on and doing this and helping out. Do appreciate it. And again, Sean, thank you, dude. It's so awesome.
Absolutely.
Talk to you guys because I know I've messaged you guys extensively. So especially you, John, with those ideas of yours.
There's so many having so little time.
Right. So many shirts to be made, so little time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate it and thank you. And good night, everyone. And we'll hope to see everybody here next week for another Artisan Spotlight. So good night. Have a good night.
Good weekend.
Not everyone.
Good night.